I have been busy quilting since the first of the year, trying to work through my scrap pile, and I have made lots of scrappy quilts, and my pile is just about gone. Not completely, but pretty close. But that means now I can break into my spring fabric. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this. I'm really excited. I love quilting when the seasons change and for holidays and special occasions, and I have something special in mind for Easter dinner. I want to make a special piece to put on the table for everybody to enjoy, and I think you're going to love this. I'm Leah Louise from Inspired Quilting by Leah Louise. And you may remember my potato chip block that I made a couple weeks ago. And that tutorial showed you all about making the block and what you can do with it. Well, I have another idea I'm really excited about and want to share with you. And it's a quick and easy project. It's all scraps. You don't need to buy spring fabric, but if you have some, go ahead and get it out. I think you might enjoy it. Definitely a scrappy project, and you can do this in an afternoon. It'll be on the table before you know it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm anxious to show this to you. We have to start with fabric. I just fell in love with this adorable little print, and it got me all excited about doing a spring something or other. And so I love the garden. I love the wreath and just all the garden implements and the herbs. It's just a perfect print for me for spring because I love quilting, of course. I love my flowers. I love gardens. And this is a wonderful choice for me to get started on spring quilting. I've been doing lots of scrappy quilting since the first of the year in order to clear out my scraps, and I've used a lot of them, so I'm pulling out fabrics that I haven't used before, and these are fabrics that I've had on hand. And so I have this pretty one. I need to tell you, I wrote this down because it's wonderful, and I thought some of you are probably going to want it too. It's called Touch of Spring by Beth Albert for, I can't read that, 3 Wishes Fabrics. And there are, the only place I found it where it's still available, because I bought this last summer, is on Etsy. And I added the shops that I could find selling this fabric to my favorites list. So I'll link that down below if you want to find something like this. But there are some wonderful spring fabrics, floral fabrics, garden fabrics. I got really excited looking at it. But okay, we need to move on. With that, these are the colors I want to use with it. And the first project's going to be on the small side, so I'll only be using a bit of everything, but I pulled everything that I had that I thought would go with this. And these are all left over from other projects. We've got charm squares, and we've got some 2.5-inch strips. This is left over. There's a few fat quarters that I've been holding aside not to touch for spring, and then some yardage with some more leftovers. Now, none of this is new fabric. I'm still going through the stash and clearing out what I have, and that's a good thing. But remember, I do get my Fat Quarter Shop bundle of the month, and it's always a Fat Quarter selection of 12 different boutiques, and that's sort of how I do my shopping. I don't go shopping for fabric a lot, but I do get my monthly shipment, which is a great variety of fabrics, and then when I do go shopping every few months, I'll find something, that I like that's going to carry me through for a while. So with that being said, let's take a look at some fabrics. This is one bundle I bought right after the first of the year. And there are, I think there's 12 fat quarters. And they're art gallery fabrics, and it's all in the fuchsia colors. And I love this. They're great, bold, bright colors that I can use in quilts that stand out. And I've had one before, and you can see it's down, pretty low. So this is a color I like to have on hand because it goes with a lot of the fabrics that I use. Now, these are my monthly, and I'm just checking my dates. Yep, this is January. These are my monthly, I can't find where to open it. My monthly packs that I get from the Fat Quarter Shop. Okay, so there we go. I knew there was a tear. And so every month I get my 12 fat quarters in a particular colorway. And oh, here's a pretty one. So this is all nice and purple, all kinds of fun colors, or not colors, but shades. And So I get my list that shows me what the fabrics are if I want to order a specific one. And these are the Hoffman Bali Batiks. And so what I get is it's generally a range from light to dark. And I like that because in any quilt, we want to have different values of a color, of a fabric. So we don't want to just go with darks or mediums or lights, but it's when you combine all three of these in the same quilt that you really get some beautiful color and contrast throughout your quilt. But you can see, look at these. Oh my goodness, there's some really pretty prints and some graphics and just some great colors, and see how this moves into the blues. Okay, so we will have fun with this one. And I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet, but that's okay. It's here and it's waiting. And when I go to do a quilt, I'll pull this out and we'll figure that one out, what we're going to do. Okay, I can't put that back in the bag. So let's open another one. So this was my February pack. Oh, look at, isn't that pretty? Ooh, let's take a look at this one. And really rich colors. So we have, let me see if I can open it from the back. This might give us a little better look at the specific fabrics. So we have this really dark, almost, I think it's a black, not a navy, but with a lot of the blues in there. And then here's a beautiful blue. Oh, I like that. And this is pretty, sort of like a cranberry, a really dark cranberry color. And then these pretty greens. Oh, I like those. Oh, and some awesome reds. Look at that. Oh, the sunflower. I love the sunflower. And I just am so happy they do it in all these different colors. And then a solid. So there's some great fabrics to be working with. And let me show you the last one. It's just so fun for me to get fabrics every month. And because I was doing the scrappy quilts, I told myself, no, I'm not going to open these until I get my scraps cleared out. And I used up a lot of them. So let's see here. This is my, let's see, January, February. This was my March shipment. Oh, isn't that pretty? Look at that. And these are my favorites. I love this multicolor. I've used that fabric or that color scheme, that colorway for years. I mean, had this colorway like 20 years ago, and it's in the flowers. Not quite. It's sort of like a sunflower, but I love that it has all the colors here. Let me open this. I got to show you that fabric. It is a favorite, and it was great when I did my when I was doing my tropicals, when I lived on the island and everything was my tropical quilts. Look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? And it has that beautiful aqua background with all these great pastels. Yeah, it's a favorite. And then this one, though, is the bolder one. So you had the pastels, and I think this is called the Bright Multi. I'm not sure, but I absolutely love it. Just look at those colors, the way they blend, and you know how the flowers just transition across the colors. Okay, so you know what I'm going to want to dig into first. So there we are. I wanted to show you some fabric, and it's always fun to see what's out there and some of the new things that we can get. And here's the front and back of our super-sized hot pad made with the potato chip block. And you see here we have our center, but what's different about this is the way we've laid in the dark colors in a rectangle instead of keeping it square. And then we use this low volume or white background fabrics to create a bit of a border, and then add more colors in more of a moderate tone around the outer edges, and it just looks so pretty. And of course, it's for spring, it's for Easter, and what better than to have a garden themed backing. And this just turned out beautiful. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope you'll make your own. This is a wonderful, fun, easy, fast project. This is the pile of fabric I'm starting with for today's project. It's a lot more than what I need, but I need variety, so I'm only going to cut 1 or 2 pieces from each. After cutting for a couple hours, I have a number of blocks that I'm going to be able to use. These are rectangles that measure 2.5 by 4.5, and I have one of everything in this pile. I actually cut 4 of all these strips, or all these prints, and I put the 3 up there for future use, and these are for today. And then I have an assortment of pieces to throw away. So what I have here are, these are prints with multiple colors. These all have a white background, and these are solids, mostly in the pastel range. And so I'm going to lay these out in a way that I want to do my potato chip block. And I'm going to set it in a manner that it will fill up a fat quarter. So I'm going to go 18 by 20 inches or 22, depending on how wide the fat quarter is. So let me go ahead and get this set up, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have my pieces laid out. I'm just going to start grabbing them and laying them, and I can always come back after and adjust them the way I need. But I just want to show you what I'm doing with the colors here. See, I'm having a hard time already. I want to match colors. So I'm going with darker colors to the center. Okay, so this is my first square, which is the center, and then I add a piece on each edge. Now I'm going to put 2 on each side, and I'm keeping with the darker colors towards the center. And how about we put some purple in there? Oh, that would be pretty. And what else do I have that's dark? Kind of a dark teal. And we have another dark color there. Oh, and here's a dark green. All right, so our center block, and then we have our outer row. But I want to take my piece and have it be rectangular and longer. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to turn it this way and put these on each end and put this here and here and this here and there. Okay, now I'm going to add my next row here, which will be 2 of the dark ones. Let's see, I'll put that one over here. And let's see what I have here. I have this darker one. And do I have something else I want to add? Actually, that would be kind of pretty there too. Okay. Whoops, I need one more on this side. Like that. Okay, so now I have a center rectangle. And what I want to do is, like I said, make this the size of a fat quarter. So I'm just going to build out, but I'm going to do it with rounds of lights and darks. So ordinarily, so I have a center here, this block. Then I have my first round. This is the second full round, and I would ordinarily continue the same color here and here. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change it up a little and put some light colors in. So I will probably put this one here, and I'll put that one there. And this is a lighter one and a lighter one. And let's see, we'll put, oh, actually I got to put my purple pots right there, right? And so I have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now the other thing I'm going to do is put some solids in here. But now I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 this way. So let me get this one done and see how this turns out. So I have 1, and we'll put that here. And let's see what else. Just kind of put these in. So I'm just grabbing them as I go. So there's 3 there. And whoops. Let's get these. Whoops. Is that one? Nope. I thought that had a selvage on it. It was just just a different cut. Okay, so here we are now. See how I have that light row around? And now I'm going to put some dark ones. I'll put 2 rows of dark. So if I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Right now this measures 12 inches. And I want 18 inches, I think. So if I go, let's see, so what did I say? That's 12, 14, 16. So it's going to be off center if I go to the 18. So I think what I'll probably do is stop at 16. I don't know, but we're going to find out. So right now I'm going to put another round of darks here. And I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see that. All right, now we can see better. I do see while I was doing this, there's a change I want to make. And I think what I'm going to do, this was just too much right there. So I'm going to put this here. I think that works better. There's a lot of green over here. So I will move this over this way. All right, that kind of helps, I think. All right, so now I'm going to take my darker pieces and put them to the outside. And these are sort of medium, not real dark. And that's going to work out really well, I think. I don't want too much of a neutral. I'll put some green over here. We have that already. We can put that in here. Oh, I think, well, let's see. I'll do the purple down here with that one. And what else do we have? That would be pretty. And I have some daisies, and we have some pretty turquoise. And so I'm going to go all the way around here. So let's see, we're at, what did I say? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So this is going to be my 18. 2, 4, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So this is my height. So I'm going to have about 20 inches on each side as my plan. But let me go ahead and lay some on this side so I make sure I get both ends covered. All right, so I have this one. I've done that already. I can put that one in here. Have some yellow. How about some gold down here? And here's some pink for up there. And how about another pink down here? Do I like this somewhere better? Let's see what I have, because that's kind of dull over there. Let's put this in. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so I'm going to have a 16 by 20 when I sew this together, and that's pretty darn close to my fat quarter. So I'll have a couple inches on one end, and that's okay because I don't mind having extra of that fabric. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start sewing this together, and I'll show you how it looks. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be pretty. And now I have the center square finished, and it looks beautiful. Time to do the outer edges. And here we are. Look at that. I love that light border using the low volumes. And in this case, the way I selected my low volumes is anything with a white background. Regardless of how busy it might be, I just wanted that white background, and that's going to be enough to offset it from the rest. It really creates enough contrast. This is coming out gorgeous. I can't wait. I'm loving how this is turning out. The colors are great, nice spring colors, some dark green in there to kind of tone things down, but I love all the light brights. It looks fantastic. So now all I need to do is add this last row, and then we'll take a measure, and we'll see if it's my last row or not, but I think we're getting close. And here it is. I think this looks so pretty. Look at all those beautiful colors. I like that the center is a little bit darker, and then it works light to the outer edges. Just worked out really well for me, and I'm happy with the colors. Now, as I said, I'm going to use a fat quarter for the backing. And so if I lay this out, I don't have enough room to do another row. So this is the size I'm going to be going with. So let's see, what do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, which is the width of my fat quarter. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So 16 by 20 is a great size for the center of your table. And we can use it strictly as a reversible table square. But what I'm going to do is put some Insul-Bright and batting in here to make it a hot pad. And I think that'll be wonderful. It'll be such fun and be so pretty and practical. So when pretty is also practical, that's always a good thing. Let me go ahead and get my pieces together, and we'll move forward with what we need to do. And we are going scrappy on everything here. So I have some batting pieces. This is some that I've pieced. These are pretty narrow. I think this is going to be the best. I always try and work from my smallest pieces up, and that way I save the big pieces for, bigger projects. And just make sure nothing's underneath there. So this is definitely wide enough, and I need 2 pieces. We're going to put the Insul-Bright between 2 pieces of batting, and then the fabric will go on top of there. And that's really important because the Insul-Bright is the heat resistant. It actually absorbs the heat and keeps it from passing through. And I'll show you a piece of that in here in just a moment, and you can see what I'm talking about. But it actually has metal threads that go through it's like a padded material, and those metal pieces are the ones that hang on to the heat, so it keeps everything enclosed inside. But because that heat collects there, it gets hot, and so we need the batting. It's got to be cotton. Everything for this needs to be cotton if you're going to use it as a hot pad and use the Insul-Bright in there, or any kind of thermal fabric or insert, whatever it may be. And the cotton is required. I mean, it really is important because it won't burn or melt like polyester will. If you use a poly batting in here, it'll just melt when that hot pad gets really, really warm. So we want to make sure that we are using the 100% cotton, and everything will be beautiful that way. So let me go ahead and measure this. So I've got my 20 this way, so I'll go 16, 5, 10, 15. There's 16. But I want to take it out to 18, so I have a little bit extra to work with. And I'm just going to sort of fudge this cut this way. And tuck that for the next project. This is great. I love my little fabric bin. You know, I bought this online. It's supposed to be an outdoor pot, a planter. And it's got little handles. You put your dirt in there, and it's got water holes. I just could never put dirt in that. I thought it was too perfect for fabric storage and things like that. All right, now let's talk a minute about the Insul-Bright. So this is what it looks like. You can buy it pre-cut. I think it's in 1, maybe 2 yard pieces, and it comes pre-packaged. Most of the big box, fabric stores have it. You can buy it online pretty easily, though when I buy it online, I find I usually need to get a 2 yard piece. So it depends on where you go. But this is what it looks like. I'm going to hold it up close. You might be able to see the metallic kind of shimmer in there. And if you look on the edge, there's just this thinnest piece of metallic thread, whatever metal they use in this. And there's a fuzzy side on both sides. Now, there's no right or wrong, so there's no top or bottom. It doesn't matter how you put this in, but what you need to do is put it on top of your batting and then put another piece on the other side. But first I have to show you. You see how I made this fit? I almost had enough, and then I had another piece that was sort of cut wonky, and that worked perfectly here. So this is one of those I'm making do with what I have. And I will put this to one side, so I sort of have about 1 inch all the way around. And that way it'll be easy for me when I lay my quilt. So this is what we're going to do. We are just going to lay this out this way and put our quilt down, and I'm going to spray base this. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. Give me 1 minute and I'll get set up. I always keep old sheets in my sewing area because they're perfect for this. When I just need to do a small spray base on a small project, I don't mind doing it right here at my table, but I want to cover everything because there is a bit of overspray, and I don't want that glue essentially to go anywhere but on my fabric. Now, I did press this, but some of those creases don't want to come out, so I'll give them a good steam afterwards. And I'm just going to put this here. Now, let me go ahead and we'll start getting this layered up. All right, so here's my product that I use, the 505. It's by Otif, temporary adhesive for fabric. And I just give it a good shake. And I generally spray the fabric instead of the batting. I think it gets better adhesion. If it's in the batting, it goes into the nooks and crannies where you just want it to glue onto the surface. So if I spray this, it's nice and flat. The batting will adhere to it nicely. And it doesn't take much. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to put my batting on. And I know I have a good inch all the way around. So I am going to put my batting right to that edge. And it looks like it's cut almost to the same size. And I'm going to, now see, I've got a wrinkle, but look at this. All I have to do is lift that up and press it down. And everything is nicely in place. And if you get a little, something, not so much as a wrinkle, but sometimes you know how it lifts and it's not laying flat, just go ahead and rub it out with your fingers. Now, what I want to show you is look at how well this holds. I can pull it off, but it doesn't fall off on its own. That is what makes this so awesome. I love this stuff. And I use it on my big quilts too. I've been known to hang it on a wall and do it, or do it on the floor. But again, I always make sure there's a sheet down. And you want to be careful that you have ventilation. It is an aerosol, and, everybody reacts differently to it. I've never had a problem. And I'm just telling you, check the directions and just do what it says, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to put my batting here, or this is my Insul-Bright. I want to get it kind of squared in if I can. There we go. It looks a little bit wonky. Okay, what I want to do is measure that edge. So see, I can pull this off now and reapply it. So what I realize that I need to do, and I'm going to start from this edge, is lay this right along that edge so it's nice and straight, because this print has directional designs. There's an up and a down, and so I want them to go relatively straight and not be crooked. Okay, there we are. All right, now I'm going to spray this one and put my next piece of batting down right on top. There we go. Everything's lining up nicely. Look at that. Oh. All right, so I'm just going this far. I'm just going to kind of, with my finger, outline how far I need to go. With all my layers secured, I just want to make sure it's nice and smooth and taut. So it's not loose in the middle. There's no wavy areas, because I want to be able to quilt this and get nice smooth edges. And that's also going to make sure that your edges stay straight. If you let it sort of buckle up in the middle, then those edges will come in like this and you'll lose a lot of dimension, and we don't want to do that. I think this is wonderful. This is going to be great fun. And then when we look at the back and we've got this, oh, so pretty. Perfect for spring. All right, that's it. I am going to go ahead and quilt this. I've been thinking about how I want to do it, and I think I'm just going to channel quilt it. And I'll kind of start here. I'm going to go 1.5 inches apart. So I'll do 3/4 on each side and then go 1.5 inches all the way out. I thought about doing 1 inch, but 1.5 is fine, so that'll be good. And there we are. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you what it looks like. Then we'll trim this, get it bound, and this is done. I'm telling you, this is a fantastic, easy, quick project, and it's beautiful. And you can have it on the table tonight. It won't take long. And the quilting's done. I'm going to trim these edges up. And then once that's finished, I'll show you how the quilting turned out. I think it looks wonderful. And I'm just going to go straight along the edges. I cut my first side, and then I'll line that up with my mat so that everything else is square. So let's see if I go here and here. That's about 1/4 inch. Let me just make sure I'm the same on both ends. And trim this side off. And then I'll just line this up again, putting it straight, making sure everything's right where it needs to be. And by doing it against the grid like this, you make sure you're going to get nice and even. So let's see, we're going to go just a little bit there. And I'm just making sure I have the same dimension here and there. Have you ever cut and realized you cut at an angle? It wasn't exactly straight? Oh yeah, that's disappointing. But we've got this. And I'm just going to line this side up. And I'm not worrying about what it measures, because what I'm more concerned, whoops, here we go. Okay, so for whatever reason, and maybe it was the way I was sewing, this kind of pulled in, and I wasn't paying attention to that, and I'm not quite sure why. And it could be just because I was sewing that direction, because see, these are pulled down a little bit. It's not going to be that terribly noticeable, but I do need to cut this so that it's straight. I'm going to put that right on the line. And let's see, I can go here. So if I go at, let's see, that's 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch there. There we go. And then I'll pick that little bit up with my seam binding. So there we are. And this is our table topper. It's going to be an adorable piece sitting on the Easter table when the grandkids come over. I love this garden fabric. It is so pretty. And I want to show you, I used just a simple, I can't find a place where it's on white, but it's a cream colored thread that's not very noticeable. You see the quilting, but you don't really see the color of the thread. Now on the front, I used a light gray, which sort of works in with everything. And I like how that turned out as well. I'm really happy with this. I just need to get some binding on. I'm thinking I want to find something probably in a darker green around the edges, because that would really look good on this side as well. So let me find my binding and we'll get this finished. Well, it took a bit of searching. I knew I had some dark greens, and this is the one that'll work the best. It's a bit darker and more solid than I wanted, but I think it's going to work out fine. And it's really going to create a nice dark frame around the front and the back. And seeing how there's bits of green on both sides, I think that'll work out great. So let me get this binding on and we're going to be finished. Oh, my Easter table is going to look so pretty next week. And look how wonderful this turned out. I think my favorite part of this is having that darker center with the low volume and then the lighter colors. It just really creates this beautiful framed piece. And of course, that dark binding works well. I am so happy with this. And check out the back. Oh my goodness. That is just too sweet with all that fun garden print. And the colors are gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So this is a fun project. And like I said, it's easy. It's quick. You can do this. So go ahead and pull your scraps out and give this a try. You've got this. Thanks so much for watching. It's been great fun sharing this with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.